All right, it's 7:05. Oh, we have a new person coming in. See, it's worth waiting. But thank you everyone for enduring that awkward silence and joining us this evening. We're Mid-Hudson Energy Transition. We are a nonprofit based in Kingston. I'll get into a little bit about that more, but don't want to hold everyone up any longer. So we're going to go over our newly available grants that we have. So myself and some team members are going to explain that, and then we will also have Q&A at the end. So if you have specific questions, what the next steps might be, additional questions about qualifications and eligibility, we can handle that at the end. But we'll go over what we hope to accomplish with these grants and go through that just momentarily. So in one moment, I'll share my screen and get it going. All right. Well, again, thank you all for joining us this evening. We are Mid-Hudson Energy Transition. Again, we're a nonprofit based in Kingston, and our mission is to empower communities to own and share renewable energy to create healthier buildings, which this grant program is looking to achieve, and helping the community join in wealth building to strengthen the resilience of the Hudson Valley in the face of climate change. So this is our entire team, our entire staff at Mid-Hudson Energy Transition. We're a growing team. We're relatively new, but constantly growing. And I wanted to highlight the HUG team, specifically our Home Upgrade Grants team. You have myself, the project manager. We have Dennis, who will be also explaining the program this evening, and Pilar, who will be answering and watching out the chat for any questions. So we have the whole gang here with us tonight. And I'm gonna give it to Dennis now.
Good evening. My name is Dennis. The Mid-Hudson Energy Transition. We started our program by explaining some of the issues. Many households in the U.S. struggle with inadequate living conditions, including poor indoor air quality, high energy bills, and uncomfortable homes. The city of Kingston has some of the oldest housing stock in the region, with more than 50% being built before 1939. This creates a never-ending list of home upgrades to be completed. Outdated homes lead to increased utility costs. Leaky homes are expensive. According to the U.S. Department of Energy, sealing and insulating your home can reduce your heating and cooling costs by as much as 30%. Oftentimes, older homes have lead, mold, and asbestos, environmental toxins that are unsafe to be enclosed with. Hudson Valley Air Quality Coalition and Bard College have collected samples and surveyed Kingston residents, ultimately discovering many homes in our region that are not healthy or safe. Our solution, the Home Upgrade Grants Program. Our grants will provide free and immediate improvements to eligible homeowners. Our grants will focus on health and safety improvements that are usually hard to fund. Our team will make it easier for this work to get done, managing the projects, combining multiple funding opportunities, and advocating for the community. Grant amounts. The Home Upgrade Grants Program. Eligible participants will receive one of three tiers of funding depending on their health, safety, and energy needs discovered through a comprehensive home assessment. We will also apply for up to $10,000 in additional energy efficiency funding through NYSERDA's Empower Plus program.
All right, awesome. Thanks so much, Dennis, for giving that overview. So we had noticed in the city of Kingston through different surveys and tests that were already done by other organizations that there are a lot of toxins in people's homes. And so originally our goal was just to focus strictly on energy efficiency and making homes more cost efficient and helping with your utility costs. But through some of the great work through these other organizations, we really realized there are other barriers and other priorities that people want to address before even thinking about energy efficiency. And so that's why we combined both of those types of projects into these grant opportunities for folks. So Dennis had briefly just mentioned we have 3 different grant amounts that we're offering, and that's really going to be based on the applicants we receive and who are interested in getting grants. So for our particular grant program, we are looking for people to participate, specifically homeowners at this time. In the future, it is our goal to also help tenants and landlords, mostly because more than half of Kingston residents are tenants. So it's very important for us to figure out a solution for those individuals as well. If you have like a family member who owns your home, that's something that we can potentially work with if you can receive permission. So if you're interested and you feel like you have a interesting or unique scenario, still talk to us and we'll figure out how we can help. We are also prioritizing people who live in what New York State identifies as a disadvantaged community. And pretty much 2/3 of Kingston fall within those parameters. One of a mission of Mid-Hudson Energy Transition is that we want to make sure that we make energy efficiency equitable and accessible for all people, including people of color, because in history, they're usually left behind when it comes to these upgrades. So we are prioritizing those communities for our grants. If you have applied for other programs and have been declined, whether that's because there were other things you had to upgrade in your home, we definitely want to help you fill those gaps so you can unlock other incentives. And for our program, there are income guidelines that we are adhering to just because we are applying to some state programs. And so those are their income guidelines. If you are interested in our grants and want to move forward, we do want you to just participate more than getting upgrades in your home. We want to engage in pre and post surveys about your experience through getting all these upgrades done, because it's going to be a lot of moving pieces and it can be very stressful managing so many different construction or different contractors and different audits and site visits. So we want to hear from you about your experience. We will need your energy bill so we can measure potential cost reductions, because we want to make sure the work we do is actually benefiting you. And we will be doing interviews and doing some recordings, because we really want to share your experience with the community and also with legislators, because there isn't funding available for some of the work that we want to accomplish. And so we want to show that this work is needed and hopefully can get some changes and federal or state funding to become available. So just some steps that you can expect to go through if you are interested in applying for our grants that we have available. We will schedule a free energy audit for you, and we'll be doing that through Empower Plus, and also doing indoor air quality assessments as well, and trying to get a full picture of your home and what solutions are needed. I mentioned previously we have different guidelines and who we're looking to prioritize for our participants. So if you get an audit, it might not necessarily mean you will move forward and get the work done. We will look at all of the results from all of the people who are interested, and based on level of severity or other factors, that will determine who is going to move forward with receiving a grant. Once we go through our selection process and determine who will be receiving a grant through our program, that's when the work will start. So we are going to do all the project management for you. You won't have to lift a finger, hopefully, and we'll schedule all of the construction moving pieces, figure out getting the financing from the state programs, and try to make it as simple as possible to get this work done in your home. And then, as I mentioned towards the end, we do want to share your experience and what we've accomplished. So we'll be putting together a report because, again, we're hoping this will create a domino effect where other programs can get started either locally or in other states. And policymakers will also want to, find solutions and create more funding opportunities to get this work done. So that's pretty much the gist of our program. So for those who are interested, I do see some names that look familiar. So we have this interest form here for you to fill out. We will be getting back to people this week. And the first step is just, again, trying to see if this program seems like a good match for you. I mentioned that we're looking to do some health and safety upgrades and some energy efficient upgrades to make your home more comfortable and more cost efficient with your utility bills. So if that's kind of in alignment with the work and the upgrades you want to do in your home, then the next step would be scheduling that audit. So we'll help you apply for the New York State programs. So we'll also walk you through all of that. You don't have to do it alone. We have people who can meet you in office as well to help with that. And then just kind of go step by step after that, getting the audit results, and then we'll have our selection process for who will receive a grant. So I'm going to leave this QR code up here just in case people haven't filled out the intake form just yet. It's super simple. Just your name, contact information, just the size of your home, and if you're owner or renter, just very basic information. And like I said, we will be getting back to people this week to help you get started with that first step. I'm going to check the chat to see if we have any questions so far. So the first one I see here is from Diane. So what is the area median income? That is dependent on the number of people in your home. I can actually drop the link. Let me pull this up really quickly. So it's not just like a flat number, it's based on how many people are in your home. So you can look at that to see if you would qualify for the Empower Plus program. If you don't, we still want to help you get a free audit. Every New York State resident is eligible to get a free audit, and we can help you with that process just so you can also see what solutions they have for you. And our organization will be starting a loan program either later this year, beginning of next year. So if you end up not qualifying for a grant, we will have very low interest loan opportunities for people to get work done. So I hope that answers the question. Let's see. And Craig, yes, I see your comment here. I've actually spoken to Mike Murphy over at the Clean Energy Hub, and I know this is actually one of the reasons why we kind of changed our program to include additional things outside of energy efficiency, because there are people who are in a similar situation as Anne that have barriers that are preventing them from moving forward. So Anne doesn't have a functional heating system. There are other scenarios where you might have mold in your attic, and those are things that actually prevent you from moving forward and getting state incentives that are available. And so Anne will definitely get back to you so we can I'd have to talk with Mike Murphy just to see what next steps we can do, because I know they won't even go in your home for an audit, I believe. So we want to make sure we can see how we can work around that. Josephine, I see you have a question about financial information. I want to make sure I answer your questions. Is there anything else I can go into more detail for you? I'll wait to see. You can either unmute yourself or go in the chat. Diane, I do see that you're saying Port Ewan. So right now our program is specifically for Kingston homeowners. I do see that, you know, you pay Kingston school taxes, but right now we're focusing on the city itself because it falls under that New York State designation of a disadvantaged community. But as I mentioned, we do have a loan program, and we do plan on launching citywide and then expanding into other areas of Kingston. So there could be opportunities in the future where we can assist. Let's see. So Sivan, I see you have a question. What kind of repair/work would be done for approved applicants? So again, a lot of that will be dependent on what we find during these audits. So we'll start with an energy audit, and they will look to see how to make your home more comfortable and more energy efficient, meaning that you're not kind of wasting energy and just like literally burning your money out the window and paying Central Hudson. So a lot of that is like insulation work in your attic, in your basement. And if during those audits they find there might be mold or other things, we will look to get additional audits done so we can see what the full cost of that is. And so, you know, we have different grant amounts. So obviously there's you know, someone who's getting a $5,000 grant versus a $20,000 grant is going to get different levels of work done. But it would mostly fall within anything that would prevent you from moving forward with Empower Plus. So if you have a non-operating heating system, mold, asbestos in your attic, any other potential health and safety hazards, you know, those are the type of things we're looking for. But all of that will depend on what pops up in the audits. And so I see another question that pops up, which is Windows. This is actually a very common question. So for Empower Plus, which we're looking to use to fund a big portion of the energy efficient type of work, they actually don't cover Windows because for them, from a cost perspective, you know, Windows are very, very expensive. But from an energy efficient perspective, you know, you don't get the most bang for your buck versus, you know, doing insulation work in your attic. So at this time, we're not looking to include Windows for our grants, but I mentioned earlier, we'll have a loan program available later on in the year. So that could be an opportunity if people wanted to get their Windows replaced, they could use that loan program for that. I see a question to Carol. If you do the audit and you don't end up qualifying, will you get the report? Yes, you will get the report. When you apply, we'll help you apply to get that free audit. And so that will be done through a portal. So you will get all that information directly. So yes, you will still have all that information so you know what's going on in your home. And if we do any additional audits through other sources, we'll make sure that you have that information too. So you have the full picture of what needs to be done in your home. And as I mentioned, we'll have a loan program in the future. So if you decide to come back and want to get a low interest loan, we'd love to help you with that. So want to make sure I will stop sharing my screen, and I see someone raise their hand. So go ahead, you can unmute yourself.
Hi, thank you for the presentation. I have a kind of unique situation where I rent from a family member, um, but I want to know if their financial information would be needed, or would it be the renter, yeah, the tenant's info that's needed to provide for the application.
Yes, it's a very good question. Dennis and I were actually talking about this earlier today, and we're actually going to confirm with an organization called a Clean Energy Hub. So they actually help people also apply for Empower Plus. And so we just want to clarify. My gut feeling is that whoever owns the property probably has to provide their financial information, but we just want to confirm. And so we can still potentially help you. You would just have to go through that process or bring that person in, and bring them to be involved with applying. And, we can help them walk through the whole process with them. No issues as long as they're okay. And, if they can get free upgrades done in their home, I imagine that there shouldn't be, too much pushback on that. The only we do want to focus on homeowners, but we have seen there are some scenarios where people are like renting from a family member. So we're a little bit more flexible to assist people in that situation versus someone who's just like straight up a landlord. Because it's a little bit different. It's a different relationship, and we want to be mindful and make sure that we don't do these upgrades in someone's home. And then now whoever's renting, their rent goes up or anything like that. So that's why we're hesitant, because we don't have the tools necessary in place to prevent that from happening. I hope that, if you're renting from like a family member, for example, they wouldn't do that. So we can look into that scenario, but for the most part, it would be homeowners. And if you're like renting from family, but if you have a landlord that you're renting from that you don't really have a relationship with, I would just hold off until we have a new program available where we can provide similar services. But I did see that you filled out the interest form, so I'll make sure we'll give you a call and work through all that.
Thank you.
Yep. All right, so I don't want to hold up people for much longer. Okay, so I see another question coming up. Right. I know there's a lot going on. So, all right. So, wanting to know the difference between NYSERDA versus Empower versus our program, which is HUG. So, NYSERDA is the overall New York State Energy Research and Development Agency. I think that's what it stands for. It's just overall New York State agency, and they have many, many, many programs within there. They do a whole bunch of different stuff from energy efficiency to solar to electrification, anything energy related, they oversee. So one of the things they oversee is that Empower Plus program. So they offer incentives for people to do energy efficiency work, and depending on where you fall within the income brackets, you can get either up to 5K or 10K worth of energy specific related work done in your home. So where we come in, we're the Home Upgrades Grant Program. We kind of want to combine and help people apply for those state incentives and also provide additional grants on top of that to do more work in your home. So you kind of have like a more full holistic project done in your home. And right now, Empower Plus does have some barriers. So we kind of talked a little bit about Ann's situation where their heating system is not operating. So because of that, they automatically get declined and can't even move forward with Empower Plus. So, that's like a very unfortunate situation where we'd love to potentially step in and help someone, with whatever those barriers are, something like the non-operating heating system, mold, or asbestos. Because again, if the Empower Plus auditor goes into your home and sees those things, you get rejected. You won't be able to move forward. So we're kind of looking to bridge that gap. So Empower Plus is its own thing. We're just helping people apply for it. Just because most people don't even know that it exists. So helping people know that these incentives are available. And then if there are barriers to getting approved, we want to see how we can provide those grants so you can get that work done and move forward with the next step so you can have a full project. So I'm happy that was helpful. And yeah, it's a lot going on. So we're just trying to, bring everyone together and fill in the gaps. All right. So want to see if anyone else has any questions, feel free to drop it in the chat, or if you want to unmute yourself, we can do that. So we'll stick around. Again, if you haven't filled out our intake form, please do so that way we have your contact information. Even if you think you won't qualify, we'd love to stay in contact with you so we can reach out and provide other programs as they become available, or just see how we can connect you to other resources available. So we'll stick around, but I appreciate everyone joining us this evening. If you've already filled out the intake form, expect a phone call from us soon to see how we can start the next steps. But other than that, everyone, thanks for joining and have a lovely evening. Pilar just put my information in the chat. So if you want to give me a call or send me an email, or just follow us on social media to see what new programs become available, please feel free to do so. So Kara, I see your question. So once you fill out the intake form, we'll have your contact information. We'll get back to you and kind of just find out a little bit more about what you're looking to do in your home. And if it seems like we're on the same page, then we'll help you get started with the Empower Plus application, which will then allow you to get the free audit. So that would be the next step. Hope that answers your question. Again, awesome. So yeah, definitely fill it out and we'll give you a call and talk about the next steps. So I appreciate you joining us. All right, so we'll stick around if just in case anyone has any questions, or if you want to fill out the intake form. But other than that, enjoy your evening.
Where's the intake form?
Yeah, I don't, where is the intake form?
No worries, no worries.
I got it in an email, so should I go to that email, like through how I got this, or I don't know.
Carol, you can also check the chat. I just put the direct link that will take you to the form.
Which one are you? You're pulling up. So that I click on that. Okay.
Yeah, on the first link. Yeah, that will take you.
Okay. All right. Okay. Thank you. Okay, I'll do that. Thank you.
No worries. Awesome. We look forward to talking to you more. And I don't know, we're on right now. So if you have like a specific question, or
Well, no, we have a terrible, I don't know how we're gonna do this, but we have a house with an old solar system, and there's just, anyway, it needs a lot, and we're seniors. Does senior qualify as like a special?
it's one of the considerations.
Yeah, really, senior. And so anyway, yeah, we have a lot, so I don't even know where to begin. So I'll fill it out and then we'll talk. I mean, there's probably mold in the basement, I know that for sure. None above the first floor. So anyway, thank you so much.
Yes, of course. Thanks for joining. We'll talk to you soon.
Yep. Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Going here. I never know how to do this. Oops. All right.
There should be a leave button somewhere.
This happens all.
Figured it out. All right. I don't know if Amy or Santiago have any additional questions. I don't want to end the Zoom and leave you hanging, but other than that, we'll conclude for tonight.